Those $5,000 Doge stimulus checks, are they coming? How much are they going to be? And what is potentially holding them back? Well, let's talk about it. In today's video, I'm going to explain exactly what is going on, what some economists are now predicting that could actually put some pressure on these Doge stimulus checks. Again, I've been saying this before, they could be up to $5,000. That's what the creator of the proposal first said. That's what he first proposed. But we're now hearing more and more updates that there's a lot of pushback against a $5,000 check, all because that could cause additional inflation. Now, I'm going to break this down, explain what is going on, and how you will likely be impacted here very soon. But before I do, all I ask is one thing. Takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So it's no secret. Millions and millions of Americans could use some additional money. But what are they going to do with that money? This is why some people call this $5,000 payment from Doge, why they call it stimulus. Because if you give it to a certain group of people, it would be stimulating to the economy. But if you give it to those with higher incomes, $5,000 might not do much. They would probably just put it in savings or an investment, and so it would do very little to inflation. But look at this. It says Doge stimulus check update. Payments sent out might not be $5,000. Now, why is this? Well, it has a lot to do with the U.S. economy. Has a lot to do with judges blocking the Department of Government Efficiency from getting access to records inside the Social Security Administration, getting access inside certain government agencies. Just the other day, Elon Musk went and visited with the Pentagon. Well, President Trump didn't like that. Elon Musk should not have access to any information in the Pentagon. Again, he was not elected into this position. So we are hearing a lot of pushback against the Department of Government Efficiency, but at the same time, if we don't see the Department of Government Efficiency come out and save more money, then it means the checks will not even be close to $5,000. I want to show you this, okay? Because again, this is extremely important what we are hearing. Look at this right here. It says, we think Doge can save $2 trillion over the next couple of years. If you take 20% of that, as the Doge dividend calls for, and send it back to taxpayers, 20% is $2 trillion, is $400 billion. You divide that up right here by 80 million tax-paying households, then you get a $5,000 check for each household. However, it might not be the case. Look at this. This is from James Fishback. He says, but again, this plan is not predestined to the $5,000 number. If the savings come in above or below that, the check will reflect accordingly. So again, if the savings are only $1 trillion, which I think is awfully low, the check goes from $5,000 to $2,500. If the savings are only $500 billion, which again is really, really low, then the savings are only $1,250 per household. Keep in mind, right now, what Doge is saving is $115 billion. That's as of March 19th, 2025. Now, here's where things are getting interesting. Look at this. It says why Trump's economic policies may have canceled the Doge dividend check, at least for now. I want to read a little bit of this article to you. This came out this morning. I thought this was very interesting because what they are saying is true. Okay, I've been saying this for a while. It says right here, stocks are wobbling. Inflation is expected to tick higher, if maybe only in the short term, if President Trump follows through on expansive tariff threats against trading partners around the world. Now, we've heard this before. Now, Trump did come out and say just the other day that there will be flexibility on reciprocal tariffs. However, we do not know what that flexibility looks like. We don't know to what extent. Will it be on every single trading partner? Again, we don't know. But we're going to have answers very soon because on April 2nd, that is when all this is supposed to go into effect. Let's keep reading this though. It says, there's at least one more way for the administration to placate the public. As Elon Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency continues his effort to gut the government, the idea has been floated that savings could end up in checks mailed to taxpayers. Yeah, President Trump even said he supports it. He says an exact amount of any Doge dividend check is unclear, but some analysts have equated a 20% dividend to $5,000 per tax-paying household. What you need to understand, okay, is that it will be different. It says while the idea of a no strings check may sound enticing, many economists warn that it's a bad idea. Here's why. Dumping $5,000 per person, technically per household, into the economy sounds great on paper, but it's essentially pouring gasoline on an already hot fire. Keep this in mind. We are seeing tariffs go into effect in like 10 days, 11 days, on April 2nd. Okay. Now, there's going to be flexibility. We don't know what it's going to look like, though. So there's going to be tariffs. That is going to be somewhat inflationary. Okay? Here's the other thing. It could be inflationary, or the American people can decide, you know what? I don't want to buy any of those goods because now they're too expensive. I don't want to buy those goods from other countries. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to save my money. I'm not going to buy from a Chinese manufacturer. Okay, not doing that anymore. And then what's going to happen is the economy is going to somewhat slow down. It's going to struggle. And as it does, we're going to see higher unemployment. If we see higher unemployment, yeah, that's a good time to send out a potential stimulus check. It's a great time because that means all those people are going to get some money that they could go and spend in the economy, right? Keep it going. But here's a concern that what President Trump is doing right now, they're laying off employees on the federal level, trying to make the government smaller. That's the only way that Doge dividend check goes up. Otherwise, it stays at $115 billion. That's it. That's all they've saved. Keep this in mind. That's 100% of what they saved. So that means if we take 20% of that, so let's just say, 23 billion, 24 billion, 25 billion, whatever it is, $23 billion, we take that amount of money and divide that by 80 million households. Again, not a lot there. Okay? There's just not a lot. So would the government send out a check when we've only saved like 20-some billion dollars? No. Why would they do that? That would mean it's what, a $60 check or something like that. It's, again, not much. So I just want to share that with you. Here's the other thing, okay? It says millions will not even qualify for this check. Okay, millions of people are not even going to qualify for this Doge dividend check. And it's simple. The reason why is because according to the creator, James Fishback, he said when they first proposed it, it would only go to net taxpayers, meaning you're paying the federal government every single year. If you are not paying the federal government and you're receiving refunds back, which the majority of American families do, then you would actually not qualify. So instead of 160-some million people receiving this check, no. It's going to go to anywhere between 60 and 80 million households. That's it. 60 and 80 million. So a lot of people would not even see the benefits behind it. Now, I want to share something with you. Okay? Why is it that everyone is saying that Trump's plan, it's not working? These tariffs are not working. What President Trump wants to do is move away from taxes. Not tax the American people for using the products that we have here in the United States. He wants to impose the fees and the tariffs on other countries to participate in this economy. So what I can tell you right now is yes, there's a lot of question marks around this Doge stimulus payment. Are we going to receive it? When's it coming? How much is it going to be? And I've said this before. There's a very high likelihood that when this check comes out, because both Republicans and Democrats have said that we've already discussed it, we've already got the American people's hopes up around it, we have to push this through, but it's not going to go to those 100 plus million people. It's going to go to far less. There's going to be qualifications that you have to meet in order to receive this check. There's also a lot of discussions at this time that this check needs to go through immediately. Give it to the American people immediately. But there's more discussion saying that no, let's pass it. Let's pass the plan that if Doge is able to save money for the federal government, then we will take a pool of that money, or a small percentage, 20%, maybe 10%, and we'll give that back to the American people. But let's not do that this year. Let's do that in the summer of 2026. So again, in 14, 15 months, then we will give it to the American people. Okay, if the economy meets certain standards, the unemployment rate's at a certain percentage that is, acceptable to the current administration. We are seeing inflation is at an acceptable level. It's not going sky high. If inflation is going up and we're sitting at 4.5%, they say no, that's not the time to be sending out any potential stimulus. And then as far as who do we send it out to, that's the big question mark. Now, what is the final amount going to be? Well, keep this in mind. They are saying that they think the Department of Government Efficiency can reach that $2 trillion mark in the next couple years. But at the same time, if they don't reach $1 trillion in 2025, then some are saying that no, this Doge dividend check that everyone's discussing, that might just be a non-starter, right? We can't do it at that time. So, the one thing I want to leave you with right now is this one thing. There is a lot of things that are coming into play based off of what President Trump decides to do. If we eliminate taxes on tips and overtime and Social Security benefits, does that make it easier for this Doge dividend check to go out, or does it make it harder? Once these tariffs go into effect on April 2nd, how does this play out? That's the big question, and nobody knows. Even the Federal Reserve just this week said they're going to hold interest rates at the levels that they're currently at. They see in the future there's going to be 2 rate cuts sometime in 2025, but it could be all the way at the end. But what they are waiting on first is because they're uncertain about what this economy is going to look like. They don't know what the tariffs are going to do. President Trump doesn't know what the tariffs are going to do. He doesn't know if other countries are going to retaliate with their own set of tariffs. As a result, we are all waiting, not just for the April 2nd date, but for the next 6 weeks to potentially 8 weeks to see what it looks like. So, we will know sometime in the middle to end of May if this Doge dividend check is looking likely, or is this really just a dream? So, we'll know more very soon, but that's what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.